Hey, start interview.
Tell me about yourself.
Hello, I am Dipanshu, a full stack web developer from Delhi. I completed my diploma in computer engineering from AIT, followed by my graduation in BCA. After that, I joined IntelliPath full stack web development course, and now I am focused on manual development. For development, I use React and Tailwind for my front end, Node.js and Express for my backend, and for my database, I use MongoDB. One of my recent projects is personal finance tracking, where that extra data from PDF and so categorize spending through visual representation on dashboard. Right now, I am focused on improving my backend skills and aiming enhancing my communication, aiming for a full-time role in full stack development.
Okay, next question. What are primitive and non-primitive data types?
In JS, data types are divided into two categories. First one is primitive, and second one is non-primitive. Primitive data types are those data types that store values and that store actual value and single value. The example of primitive data types is number, boolean, string, begin, symbol, null, undefined, etc. On the other hand, a non-primitive data type are those data type that store value by their reference. Its example is array, object, etc., and function, etc. One of the primitive data types is immutable. On the other hand, non-primitive data types are immutable.
Next question. Can you clearly explain the difference between primitive and non-primitive data types?
The main difference between primitive and non-primitive data types are how they store data. A primitive data type store the actual value. On the other hand, a non-primitive data type store the reference of the actual functions or object. And second one is primitive data types are immutable. On the other hand, non-primitive data types are immutable. And we use primitive data type when we have to use store single value, and on the other hand, we use mm, non-primitive data types when we have to use complex values or multiple values.
Thank you. What is useState? Explain with a simple example.
In React, use state is used to add uh, state functionality in functional component. Use state you should give two array of two methods. Uh, First one is state, and second one is set state. And whenever we have to use state, we initially pass a value that store the current value, that store the value, and we access this value using the uh, state variable. And we have whenever we have to change the value, we change that value using state setter functions. The use state is usually mainly used whenever there is a change in UI.
Got it. Next question. What is Express.js and why do we use it?
Express.js is a lightweight web framework built on top on Node.js. Express.js help us to write code in an easier way, and by giving us features like routing, middleware, error handling, or request and response handling. And it make us code very easier, because if we don't use Express, we have to write a large amount of code using Node.js built-in HTTP modules that make our project large and lengthy.
Next question. What are CRUD operations in MongoDB?
CRUD is used to perform basic operation in MongoDB, and CRUD is stand for create, read, update, and delete. Where create is used to insert the data, read is used to read the data, you update is used to update any data, and delete is used to remove a data from MongoDB or database.
Next question. What is semantic HTML and why should we use it?
In HTML, semantic tags are those tags that have the meaning, that have their own meaning. Instead of using generic tags like div, we have used semantic tags. That means if we have to make a header, instead of using div and uh, instead of using, we use header tag. So it is more readable and easy to understand, and it is also very useful in search engine optimization. A few examples of semantic tags are header, footer, nav, main, section, etc.
Last question. What's the difference between display none and visibility hidden?
Display and visibility hidden, both are used to hide the data on UI. The display none is used to hide data, but it actually removes the space that is occupied by that element or tag from the UI. On the other hand, visibility hidden hide data, but it does not remove the space. It doesn't remove the space from UI. So it does not whenever we have to remove a space, we use display none, and we just hide the data. We use visibility hidden.